Captain Lee Dae-ho watched the massive alien warships drift past his small diplomatic vessel like sleeping giants made of metal and death. The Vorthak Empire's capital system contained more firepower than most species could build in 1,000 years, but Lee kept his face calm and his hands steady on the controls. His ship soul's promise looked tiny next to the alien dreadnoughts, but that was exactly how things needed to appear. The communication system crackled with the harsh voice of Admiral Kextar speaking in broken human language mixed with universal. Translator static. Human vessel, you will dock at Platform 7 for inspection and trade negotiations. Do not deviate from assigned flight path or defensive systems will respond with lethal force. Lee pressed the response button and made his voice sound grateful and slightly nervous like humans were supposed to sound when talking to their alien superiors. Thank you, Admiral Kextar, for allowing us this honor. We have brought rare earth, minerals, and manufacturing components as tribute for the great Vorthak Empire. The alien admiral made a sound that might have been laughter, but sounded more like metal grinding against stone. Good human. Your species knows its place in the galactic order. Perhaps we will not need to remind you again about respecting your betters. As his ship approached the docking platform, Lee activated what appeared to be a standard recording system for diplomatic meetings, but was actually something much more sophisticated. Every detail of the Vorthak fleet positions, weapon systems, and defensive arrays was being cataloged and transmitted through quantum channels that the aliens could not detect or intercept. The data would reach Admiral Kim Tae-min within hours and add to the growing intelligence files that humanity had been building for 30 years. The docking process took 20 minutes, during which Lee observed the alien crew members through his ship's external cameras. The Vorthak were reptilian creatures standing nearly 3 meters tall, with scales that shifted between dark green and black, depending on their mood. They moved with predatory grace and carried energy weapons that could vaporize a human in seconds. More importantly, they treated humans like useful pets rather than equals, which was exactly the impression humanity wanted to maintain. Once docked, Lee gathered his diplomatic case filled with genuine trade goods and fake technical specifications that would make human technology appear decades behind what they actually possessed. He walked down the docking tube into the alien station, where the artificial gravity felt heavier than Earth normal and the air smelled like ozone and sulfur. Admiral Kextar waited in the central meeting chamber surrounded by his senior officers, and what Lee recognized as advanced scanning equipment designed to detect deception. The alien admiral was larger than his subordinates, with scales that gleamed like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed amber in the dim lighting. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone who had never been seriously challenged. Human. Captain, your species has been surprisingly useful for mining operations and basic manufacturing. Your people work hard and ask for little, which makes you valuable servants. The Admiral gestured to a holographic display showing human colonies and industrial facilities. However, there have been reports of unauthorized construction in some of your outer systems. Explain these activities. Lee had prepared for this question during the long journey from Earth. The cover story was simple and believable because it contained just enough truth to pass alien scanning systems. Honored Admiral, we have been expanding our mining operations to asteroids and dead worlds that contain rare minerals. Some of these operations require large-scale equipment and temporary habitation domes for our workers. The alien admiral studied the holographic display more carefully, pointing to several locations where human activity had been detected. These construction signatures are larger than simple mining operations. What are you really building, human? Lee allowed a small amount of genuine nervousness to show in his voice because the aliens expected humans to be intimidated by their questions. Admiral, we are building processing facilities to refine the raw materials before shipping them to your empire. This reduces transportation costs and provides higher quality resources for your industrial needs. One of the junior Vorthak officers spoke up with obvious suspicion in his reptilian voice. Admiral, these energy signatures suggest massive construction projects far beyond what humans should be capable of achieving. Perhaps we should investigate more thoroughly. Admiral Kextar made a dismissive gesture with one clawed hand, and his scales shifted toward a darker color, indicating annoyance. Junior Officer Vexenar, you overestimate these primitives. Humans barely mastered interstellar travel 50 years ago. They lack the technology and knowledge to build anything that could threaten superior species. He turned back to Lee with something that might have been amusement. Your species is useful precisely because you know your limitations. The meeting continued for another hour, with Lee providing detailed trade manifests and technical specifications that painted humanity as hardworking but technologically limited. The aliens accepted shipments of rare earth elements, titanium alloys, and basic electronic components, while dismissing human requests for advanced technology as presumptuous but harmless. During a break in negotiations, Lee excused himself to use the station's facilities, but actually used the time to plant several microscopic surveillance devices in strategic locations. The devices would monitor alien communications and troop movements, while appearing to be nothing more than dust particles to casual observation. Meanwhile, in a system 300 light-years away, Dr. Park Hee-jin floated in zero gravity inside what appeared to be a standard asteroid mining facility. The official records listed this location as Mining Station Omega-7, but the reality was far more complex. Behind the genuine mining equipment and ore processing systems lay the most ambitious construction project in human history. Park moved through the facility's hidden sections, where millions of self-replicating nanobots worked around the clock to hollow out the asteroid and replace its interior with advanced military systems. The asteroid was actually becoming something unprecedented in galactic history, a warship the size of a small moon, disguised as a dead rock floating in space. The nanobots had been working for 15 years, slowly and carefully removing asteroid material while installing quantum processors, fusion reactors, and weapon systems that would make the alien empire's most powerful ships look like children's toys. Every piece of extracted rock was processed into raw materials for more construction while maintaining the asteroid's external appearance. Park checked her monitoring systems and confirmed that 17 other similar projects were proceeding on schedule across human space. Each disguised facility would become a planetary warship capable of manufacturing entire fleets while traveling between star systems. The aliens had unknowingly allowed humanity to build a fleet that could challenge all galactic empires simultaneously. Her communication system activated with a priority message from Admiral Kim Tae-min, who was coordinating the entire project from his hidden command center inside Earth's moon. Dr. Park, we have received intelligence from Captain Lee's mission indicating that the Krenth hegemony is planning to end human autonomy entirely. They intend to reduce our species to slave labor within the next year. Park felt a cold anger settle in her chest as she reviewed the intelligence data. The aliens had grown tired of even pretending to treat humans as junior partners. They wanted to strip away the last vestiges of human independence and reduce Earth's people to property. Admiral, how much time do we have before they move against us? The Admiral's voice carried grim determination when he responded. Our sources indicate they will begin with a compliance inspection of human space in 30 days. If we refuse their new restrictions, they will use it as justification for military occupation. There was a pause before he continued. Dr. Park, it is time to accelerate our timeline. How quickly can the planetary warships be brought online? Park ran rapid calculations through her neural interface, checking construction progress across all 18 hidden facilities. Admiral, we can have 12 ships ready for operation within 3 weeks. The remaining 6 will need another month, but 12 should be sufficient for initial operations. Admiral Kim's voice carried a tone that Park had never heard before, something between anticipation and regret. Dr. Park, transmit activation codes to all facility commanders. After 30 years of hiding in plain sight, humanity is about to show the galaxy what we have really been building. As Park began transmitting the coded messages that would transform humanity from galactic underdogs to the most powerful military force in known space, she wondered if the aliens would have made different choices if they had known what humans were truly capable of achieving. Soon they would discover that their greatest mistake was underestimating the species they had dismissed as primitive and harmless. The Krenth compliance fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of human territory with the confidence of predators approaching helpless prey. Admiral Zekmoth commanded 47 warships, including 3 planet-killer dreadnoughts that had never faced serious resistance in 2 centuries of galactic conquest. His orders were simple: inspect human facilities for compliance violations, and if any resistance was encountered, eliminate human military capability permanently. Communications Officer Bae-jun Ho monitored the alien fleet's approach from his hidden station buried deep within what appeared to be a lifeless moon orbiting humanity's primary agricultural world. The moon's surface showed nothing but ancient craters and dust, But beneath that deceptive exterior lay the command center for humanity's most ambitious military project. Bay watched the alien ships assume standard attack formations and felt something between pity and anticipation. Admiral Zekmoth broadcast his demands on all human communication frequencies, using the imperious tone that had cowed dozens of species before Earth joined the galactic community. Human settlements you will submit to immediate inspection by Krenth military forces. Any attempt to resist or hide military assets will be considered an act of rebellion against galactic authority. Prepare for boarding operations. Bay activated his response transmitter and spoke in calm, clear tones that carried no hint of fear or submission. Krenth Fleet, this is humanity's official response to your demands. We respectfully decline your inspection and request that you withdraw from human territory immediately. The alien admiral's voice crackled with disbelief and rage when he responded. Human creature, you dare refuse the commands of your superiors? Your pathetic species will learn the price of defying the Krenth hegemony. All ships prepare for assault operations. Captain Shin Mira felt the deck vibrate beneath her feet as the Terra Invictus began powering up systems that had been dormant for 3 decades. Around her, the bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, bringing online weapons arrays that existed on a scale the galaxy had never imagined. The ship she commanded was not merely large, it was a mobile world disguised as a dead satellite. The Terra Invictus had been built inside an actual planetoid that humanity had quietly claimed for. Terraforming experiments. Over 30 years, nanobots had hollowed out the rocky interior and replaced it with fusion reactors, quantum computers, and manufacturing systems capable of producing entire fleets. The surface still appeared to be a barren world, but that illusion was about to end. Shin spoke into her command interface with the calm professionalism that marked all of humanity's hidden military personnel. All stations report readiness status. Weapons systems prepare for activation sequence. Navigation plot intercept course for the Krenth fleet. Her tactical officer reported from his station while monitoring the alien ships through sensors that could track individual bolts on enemy hulls. Captain, the Krenth fleet consists of 47 vessels ranging from destroyers to planet killers. Their flagship mounts antimatter torpedoes and gravitational wave generators. Standard alien technology, nothing we have not encountered before. Across human space, 17 other planetary warships received similar orders as humanity prepared to reveal the truth about their last 30 years of apparent submission. Each ship was disguised as a natural celestial body or abandoned industrial facility, but contained enough firepower to challenge entire alien empires single-handedly. Dr. Park Hyejin monitored the activation sequence from mining station Omega-7, which was transforming into the warship Sol Rising. The asteroid's surface began splitting along predetermined fault lines, revealing weapon ports that could accommodate artillery pieces the size of skyscrapers. Beneath the rocky exterior lay manufacturing bays where smaller ships were being assembled in real time using materials extracted from the asteroid itself. Park opened a communication channel to all human facilities, both hidden and public, to coordinate the simultaneous revelation that would reshape galactic politics forever. All stations, this is Dr. Park Hee-jin, transmitting on Admiral Kim's authority. Operation Emergence is now active. Humanity will no longer hide our true capabilities. Admiral Zekmoth watched his sensor displays with growing confusion as energy signatures began appearing throughout human space. What had appeared to be dead worlds and asteroid fields were suddenly generating power readings that exceeded anything in the Krenth database. His sensor operator reported readings that seemed impossible. Admiral, we are detecting massive energy buildups from multiple sources. These signatures suggest construction projects far beyond human technological capabilities. The sensor operator's voice carried uncertainty as he tried to make sense of the data. Sir, some of these energy sources appear to be moving. Before the Admiral could respond, the space around his fleet lit up with the drive signatures of ships emerging from concealment. What appeared first looked like asteroids accelerating impossibly fast, but as they drew closer, the truth became undeniable. These were not asteroids, they were warships built on a scale that defied military convention. The Terra Invictus revealed itself completely as Captain Shin Mira brought her ship into visual range of the alien fleet. The planetary warship's surface transformed as armor plating retracted to expose weapon systems that seemed to stretch across continents. Gun batteries that could level cities tracked the alien vessels, while missile tubes large enough to launch smaller ships prepared to fire. Scientist Lim Dong-hyun activated the quantum displacement drive that allowed ships of planetary mass to move faster than traditional physics permitted. The technology folded space around the massive vessels, making them as maneuverable as much smaller craft despite their incredible size. From the alien perspective, the human ships seemed to violate several laws of physics simultaneously. Admiral Zekmoth stared at his tactical display where a single human vessel now registered as larger than his entire fleet combined. The ship's mass readings suggested it contained more raw materials than most star systems could provide, yet it moved with the grace and speed of a patrol craft. His weapons officer reported targeting data that made no strategic sense. Admiral, the human vessel's armor appears to be regenerating faster than our weapons can damage it. Their defensive systems are adapting to our attack patterns in real time. The weapons officer's voice carried disbelief as he watched his most powerful weapons fail to penetrate enemy defenses. Sir, I recommend immediate withdrawal. General Yoon Jae-wook coordinated ground forces from his command ship Busan's Revenge while monitoring the space battle through real-time feeds. His troops were prepared to occupy any alien vessels that surrendered, but the enemy fleet showed no signs of being able to mount effective resistance. The planetary warships were not just winning, they were demonstrating technological superiority that rendered alien military doctrine obsolete. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than an hour. Human ships disabled alien vessels with precision that left crews alive, but systems completely non-functional. Tractor beam arrays pulled enemy dreadnoughts apart like children's toys, while manufacturing systems began converting captured materials into additional human ships. Admiral Zekmoth found himself aboard a powerless flagship, surrounded by similarly disabled vessels, while human ships continued to multiply before his eyes. When the human communication system activated, he listened with the resignation of someone who had underestimated their opponent catastrophically. Captain Shin Mira's voice carried authority that no alien admiral had ever heard from a human before. Admiral Zekmoth, your fleet is disabled, but your crews are unharmed. You will withdraw immediately from human territory and report to your government that humanity no longer accepts subordinate status in galactic affairs. The alien admiral managed to respond, despite his shock, at the complete reversal of everything he had believed about human capabilities. Human commander, how did your species hide such military power? Our intelligence indicated you possessed only basic technology. Shin's response carried a hint of satisfaction as she revealed the scope of humanity's deception. Admiral, your intelligence was based on what we chose to show you. For 30 years, humanity has been building planetary warships while maintaining the appearance of technological inferiority. We are no longer hiding. Engineering Officer Oh Hyun-woo reported from his station aboard the Terra Invictus while monitoring the adaptive systems that made human ships nearly indestructible. Captain, our manufacturing systems have completed assembly of 6 additional support vessels using materials from disabled enemy ships. Hull regeneration is at 98% efficiency. Admiral Zekmoth transmitted his surrender on all Krenth military frequencies while trying to comprehend the implications of humanity's revelation. His empire had built its power on technological superiority over younger species, but humans had just demonstrated technology that made Krenth advances look primitive by comparison. Emergency sessions convened across every alien empire as news of the human fleet reached their governments. Species that had dominated the galaxy for millennia suddenly faced the reality that Earth's apparently primitive inhabitants possessed military capabilities that could challenge all existing powers simultaneously. The Galactic Council's emergency session convened in chaos as representatives from 7 major empires struggled to comprehend reports filtering in from the human territories. For 2,000 years, the massive station orbiting the neutral world of Concordia had hosted negotiations between species who understood their relative positions in the galactic hierarchy. Today, that hierarchy lay in ruins. Fleet Admiral Kang Soo-jin arrived at the council station aboard the new Busan, a warship disguised as a large asteroid that dwarfed every other vessel in the system. The ship's true nature became apparent as weapon Ports opened across its surface, and manufacturing bays began assembling escort craft from raw materials stored in its massive hold. The message was clear, but not threatening. Humanity would negotiate as equals, or not at all. Ambassador Vexkar of the Zalari Empire paced frantically in the council chamber while reviewing intelligence reports that contradicted everything his species believed about human capabilities. The Zalari had spent decades manipulating human trade agreements and territorial restrictions secure in their technological superiority. Now, those same humans commanded ships that made Zalari dreadnoughts look like patrol boats. Council Chairman Mordax called the session to order with visible effort to maintain diplomatic protocol, despite the unprecedented circumstances. The ancient Quillari leader had overseen galactic politics for 3 centuries, but nothing in his experience had prepared him for this moment. His voice carried uncertainty as he addressed the assembled representatives. We convene this emergency session to address the recent revelation of human military capabilities and the implications for galactic stability. Chairman Mordax gestured toward the viewing ports where the new Busan hung in space like a small moon. Fleet Admiral Kang. Sujin will represent humanity in these proceedings. Admiral Kang entered the council chamber wearing a simple uniform that marked her as a senior military officer, but carried no decorations or symbols of rank that the aliens would recognize. Her presence commanded attention not through ceremony, but through the quiet confidence of someone who held ultimate military authority in the galaxy. When she spoke, her voice was calm and professional. Honored representatives, humanity appreciates this opportunity to clarify our position in galactic affairs. We have maintained peaceful relations with all species while building the defensive capabilities necessary to ensure our independence. She activated a holographic display showing human territory and the locations of revealed planetary warships. These capabilities are now a matter of public record. Representative Kex Thule of the Vorthak Empire struggled to contain his rage as he responded to the human admiral. His scales shifted toward aggressive red coloration, while his voice carried the fury of someone whose worldview had been shattered. Human creature, your species deceived the galactic community for decades. You built weapons of mass destruction while pretending to be peaceful traders. Admiral Kang's response was measured and factual without any hint of apology or defensiveness. Representative Kexthol humanity built defensive systems while maintaining all treaty obligations and trade agreements. We concealed our military development because experience suggested that other species would not react positively to human technological advancement. The Zalari ambassador interrupted with accusations that revealed his empire's growing desperation. Admiral, your actions constitute a threat to galactic peace. No single species should possess such overwhelming military superiority. The Council must take action to restore balance. Before Admiral Kang could respond, alerts began sounding throughout the station as new contacts appeared on long-range sensors. The Vorthak Empire's Grand Fleet had arrived at the edge of the system in battle formation, ready to demonstrate that their military pride had not been entirely broken by humanity's revelation. Admiral Rexvor commanded the Vorthak fleet from his flagship Divine Retribution while broadcasting demands for human surrender on all communication frequencies. His voice carried the arrogance of someone who refused to accept that his empire's dominance had ended. Human ships, you will stand down immediately and submit to Vorthak authority. Your primitive technology cannot challenge the combined might of the galaxy's true powers. The response came not from Admiral Kang, but from Admiral Kim Tae-min, commanding the Sol Rising as it emerged from concealment along with 30 other planetary warships. The human battle group had been waiting in nearby space using stealth, systems that rendered them invisible to alien sensors until they chose to reveal themselves. Kim's voice carried no emotion as he addressed the Vorthak fleet. Admiral Rexavor, you are entering human territory with hostile intent. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences of your actions. This is your only warning. The battle that followed demonstrated the complete obsolescence of traditional military doctrine when faced with human planetary warships. The Vorthak fleet mounted weapons capable of destroying continents, but found themselves targeting vessels that were themselves continent-sized and protected by defensive systems that adapted faster than alien weapons could recalibrate. Engineer Oh Hyun-woo monitored the battle from his station aboard the Sol Rising while watching automated systems manufacture replacement vessels during combat operations. The human ships were not simply larger than their opponents, they represented a completely different approach to warfare, where industrial capacity and technological adaptation mattered more than raw firepower. The Divine Retribution fired its most powerful weapons at the Sol Rising, achieving direct hits that would have vaporized any other ship in the galaxy. The planetary warship's adaptive armor absorbed the impacts and began regenerating, while tractor beam arrays reached out to pull Vorthak vessels apart with irresistible force. Admiral Rexivor watched his fleet being systematically disabled by weapons and tactics that seemed to violate everything he understood about space warfare. Human ships manufactured reinforcements during battle, used materials from destroyed enemy vessels to build new weapons, and demonstrated defensive capabilities that made them essentially invulnerable to conventional attack. Diplomat Yu Eun-ji observed the battle from the council station while preparing new terms for galactic governance that reflected humanity's emergence as the dominant military power. Her role was to ensure that human victory led to lasting peace rather than endless cycles of rebellion and suppression. The engagement lasted 4 hours, during which the Vorthak fleet was completely neutralized without the loss of a single human vessel. More importantly, the human ships demonstrated capabilities that suggested even greater power held in reserve. Manufacturing systems that could build warships during combat implied industrial capacity on a scale that dwarfed anything the galaxy had previously imagined. Admiral Rexivor transmitted his surrender while staring at tactical displays that showed human ships continuing to multiply even after the battle had ended. His proud fleet had been reduced to powerless hulks, while the enemy force had actually grown stronger through combat operations. Intelligence Chief Nam Ki-bum released classified information that revealed the true scope of human preparations over the past 30 years. Every species in the galaxy discovered that their intelligence networks had been compromised, their military capabilities cataloged, and their strategic weaknesses mapped by human agents who had operated undetected for decades. The revelations included evidence that humanity had been monitoring every council session, recording all diplomatic communications, and tracking the movements of every major military unit in galactic space. The aliens had not simply underestimated human military capacity, they had been completely outmaneuvered in the intelligence war that preceded open conflict. Admiral Kang returned to the council chamber, where alien representatives sat in stunned silence, processing the implications of humanity's demonstrated superiority. Her proposal for new galactic governance was simple and generous, considering her species' overwhelming military advantage. The human government proposes a new galactic accord based on voluntary cooperation rather than imposed hierarchy. Species that choose to join this alliance will receive protection from external threats and access to beneficial technologies. Those who prefer independence will be respected as long as they pose no threat to member worlds. Representative Kex Thul of the Vorthak Empire was the first to respond, his earlier arrogance replaced by the pragmatic acceptance of someone who recognized unchangeable reality. Admiral Kang, the Vorthak Empire requests membership in this new alliance. We acknowledge human military supremacy and seek partnership rather than continued conflict. The session continued for 12 hours as alien empires wrestled with the complete transformation of galactic politics. Some, like the Vorthak, accepted the new reality quickly, while others, like the Zalari, began planning resistance movements that would ultimately prove futile against human technological superiority. Military Coordinator John Woo-sung established joint command structures that integrated willing alien forces with human defensive systems. The goal was not conquest, but the creation of a stable galactic civilization capable of defending itself against external threats while allowing member species to maintain their cultural independence. 6 months after humanity's revelation, the galaxy operated under a completely transformed political structure that most species were still struggling to understand. President Huang Ji-ho governed the United Human Republic from Earth while coordinating with alien leaders who had chosen cooperation over resistance. The new Galactic Accord replaced the old council system with agreements based on mutual benefit rather than imposed hierarchy. The Vorthak Empire had become humanity's most enthusiastic partner after their humbling defeat taught them the value of human protection. Former Admiral Rexivor now served as a liaison officer aboard the human command ship Terra Eternal, learning military strategies that his species could never have developed independently. His reports to the Vorthak government praised human efficiency and technological sophistication. Science Director An Ye-won established research stations throughout Allied territory where human scientists shared selected technologies with species that had demonstrated genuine commitment to peaceful cooperation. Medical advances that extended lifespans by centuries were followed by energy systems that could power entire civilizations using quantum manipulation techniques that aliens had never imagined possible. The integration process proceeded smoothly with most species, but the Zalari Empire remained defiant despite overwhelming evidence of human military superiority. Ambassador Velthar refused to acknowledge the new galactic order while secretly organizing a coalition of resistant empires who believed that united they could challenge human dominance through sheer numbers. Cultural attaché Lee So-min worked tirelessly to ease tensions between species whose histories included centuries of conflict and mistrust. Her cultural exchange programs allowed young beings from different worlds to learn about human civilization while sharing their own traditions with Earth's people. The goal was building lasting friendships that would survive any future political changes. Military Coordinator John Woo-sung monitored intelligence reports indicating that the Zalari coalition was gathering ships from 12 different empires in a secret staging area beyond the galactic rim. The alien leaders believed they had found a location where human sensors could not detect their activities, but humanity's surveillance network was far more sophisticated than they realized. President Huang received daily briefings on coalition activities while considering how to respond to this challenge without unnecessarily escalating tensions. Human policy preferred peaceful solutions, but the planetary warship fleet stood ready to demonstrate that resistance to the new order would prove futile, regardless of how many species participated. The coalition fleet assembled in what the Zalari believed was complete secrecy until Captain Shinmi Ra arrived with the Terra Invictus and 12 sister ships. The human vessels emerged from quantum displacement fields that had allowed them to travel undetected across galactic distances, using technology that made conventional hyperspace travel look primitive by comparison. Ambassador Velthar commanded the coalition from his flagship Zalari Pride, while coordinating with admirals from 11 other empires who had committed their best ships to this desperate gamble. Their combined fleet included over 300 vessels representing the most advanced military technology that non-human species had developed over millennia of warfare. Captain Shin's message to the coalition was broadcast on all military frequencies, using translation protocols that ensured every species could understand her words perfectly. Coalition commanders, this is Captain Shin Mira of the United Human Republic. You have assembled military forces in violation of the new Galactic Accord. Disperse immediately or face the consequences. Ambassador Velthar responded with the fury of someone whose empire's pride had been wounded beyond repair by humanity's emergence. Human creature, your species may have deceived us once, but you cannot stand against the combined might of 12 empires. Today, we restore the natural order where humans serve their betters. The demonstration that followed was swift, precise, and utterly devastating to coalition morale. Human planetary warships did not destroy the alien fleet. Instead, they disabled every vessel with weapons that left crews unharmed, but ships completely powerless. Tractor beam technology pulled enemy vessels apart like toys, while manufacturing systems began converting captured materials into new human ships. Admiral Morketh of the hegemony watched his proud dreadnought being systematically dismantled by human industrial systems that worked faster than his crew could believe possible. Weapons systems were removed, hull plating was recycled, and critical components were extracted with surgical precision that left his ship intact but completely helpless. Military Coordinator John coordinated the operation from his command vessel, New Seoul, while ensuring that coalition crews were treated with dignity despite their hostile intentions. Medical teams stood ready to provide assistance, while diplomatic officers prepared surrender terms that would allow the defeated empires to join the Galactic Accord with minimal loss of face. The coalition's defeat was complete within 6 hours, as 300 warships representing the best military technology of 12 empires proved incapable of damaging even a single human vessel. More importantly, the human ships demonstrated that they could have destroyed the entire fleet instantly, but chose restraint that preserved both lives and future diplomatic possibilities. Ambassador Velthar found himself aboard a powerless flagship, surrounded by similarly disabled vessels, while watching human ships continue to multiply using materials from his own fleet. The tactical display showed that humanity had not simply won, they had converted their enemy's military assets into additional, human capabilities. Captain Shin offered terms that reflected humanity's preference for integration over domination. Coalition commanders, you have witnessed the futility of military resistance to human technological superiority. Those who choose cooperation will be welcomed as full partners in the Galactic Accord. Those who continue resistance will find themselves increasingly isolated. Director Kim Hae-rin coordinated the terraforming operations that transformed barren worlds into garden planets capable of supporting billions of beings from multiple species. Human planetary engineering technology could reshape entire solar systems using techniques that appeared magical to species that still struggled with basic environmental management. The terraforming process became a powerful diplomatic tool as former enemy species discovered that human partnership offered benefits far beyond military protection. Worlds that had been uninhabitable for millennia became thriving colonies within years, while desert planets bloomed with vegetation that supported complex ecosystems. Ambassador Cho Min-ji established protocols for integrating defeated species into the Galactic Accord while ensuring that their cultural traditions and governmental structures remained intact. The human approach emphasized voluntary cooperation rather than forced assimilation, while providing incentives that made partnership obviously beneficial. The Zalari Empire's leadership faced a choice between continued isolation and joining an alliance that offered technological advancement beyond their wildest dreams. Ambassador Velthar's defeat had demonstrated the impossibility of military resistance, while human diplomatic offers showed genuine respect for Zalari culture and autonomy. President Huang addressed the galaxy through communication networks that reached every inhabited world simultaneously using quantum transmission technology that made traditional interstellar communication look primitive. His message emphasized humanity's commitment to peaceful cooperation while making clear that the age of military conquest had permanently ended. Fellow beings of the galaxy, humanity did not seek dominance over other species, but we will not allow any civilization to threaten the peace and security that we have worked to establish. The choice facing every empire is simple: join us as equals or remain isolated while the galaxy moves forward without you. Admiral Kim Tae-min revealed the existence of second-generation human warships during a demonstration that left alien observers speechless with amazement. Vessels the size of small moons emerged from concealment while manufacturing planetary warships as support craft. The implications were staggering. Humanity's revealed fleet represented only the beginning of their true capabilities. The Soul Eternal dwarfed even the massive Terra Invictus while demonstrating manufacturing capacity that could produce entire battle groups during routine operations. The ship's industrial systems converted raw asteroids into finished warships faster than most species could build simple patrol craft. Engineering teams from allied species studied human technology under carefully controlled conditions while contributing their own scientific knowledge to joint research projects. The exchange of ideas accelerated technological development across the galaxy while ensuring that human advantages remained decisive. Cultural exchange programs flourished as young beings from dozens of species learned to work together on projects that would have been impossible under the old system of competing empires. Human educational techniques combined with alien perspectives produced innovations that neither side could have achieved independently. 2 years after humanity's emergence as the galaxy's dominant power, the new Galactic Accord operated as a genuine partnership between 43 different species who had discovered that cooperation produced benefits far beyond what any empire had achieved through conquest. Former enemies now worked together on projects that spanned multiple star systems, while human technology accelerated development across all member worlds. Director Kim Hae-rin supervised the terraforming of the Kepler system, where 17 barren worlds were being transformed into garden planets capable of supporting diverse ecosystems. Human planetary engineering had progressed beyond simple environmental modification to complete stellar system redesign that optimized every world for maximum habitability and resource production. The transformation process used nanobotic technology that could restructure matter at the molecular level, while quantum manipulation systems moved asteroids and adjusted planetary orbits with precision that would have seemed impossible just years earlier. Entire civilizations watched dead worlds bloom with life as human science turned theory into reality. Ambassador Cho Min-ji established first contact protocols after long-range sensors detected refugee ships fleeing from the direction of the Andromeda Galaxy. The vessels carried survivors from civilizations that had been destroyed by what they described as an extragalactic invasion force capable of consuming entire star systems within days. The refugees brought warnings about technology that operated on principles unknown to galactic science, along with evidence of weapons that could destabilize stars and convert planetary matter into construction materials for ever larger fleets. Their descriptions painted a picture of relentless expansion driven by artificial intelligence systems that viewed organic life as merely another resource to be harvested. President Huang convened emergency sessions with allied leaders while reviewing intelligence that suggested the invasion force was approximately 5 years away from reaching the galactic rim. The threat required preparation on a scale that would test human technological capabilities while demanding unprecedented cooperation between species that had been enemies until recently. Fleet Marshal Park Jin-woo revealed the second generation of human warships during a demonstration that left even allied species struggling to comprehend what they witnessed. The Earth Eternal emerged from concealment as a mobile command center built around Earth's actual moon, transformed into a vessel capable of coordinating hundreds of planetary warships across multiple galaxies simultaneously. The ship's industrial capacity defied conventional understanding as manufacturing bays. The size of continents produced planet-sized vessels as support craft, while quantum processing systems managed logistics for operations spanning light years. The Earth Eternal was not simply large, it represented a fundamental reimagining of what space-based civilization could achieve. Admiral Song Byung-ho commanded the advance fleet that took position at the galactic rim to monitor the approaching invasion force while preparing defensive strategies that would protect billions of innocent beings. His ships used stealth technology that rendered them invisible to conventional sensors while gathering intelligence about enemy capabilities and intentions. The invasion force finally appeared as a collection of artificial constructs that consumed matter to fuel their expansion while demonstrating technology that operated according to completely alien principles. Their vessels grew larger by devouring asteroids and dead worlds, while their weapons destabilized stellar fusion processes to power ever more destructive capabilities. What the invaders expected to find was a collection of primitive civilizations, armed with conventional technology and divided by ancient conflicts. Instead, Admiral Song met them with a fleet of human planetary warships that treated their massive invasion armada as merely the opening engagement of a much larger conflict. The battle began when invasion scout ships encountered human sensor networks that had been monitoring their approach for months. The enemy vessels immediately attacked using weapons that converted matter into energy on an unprecedented scale, but found themselves facing defensive systems that adapted faster than their technology could compensate. Captain Lee Dae-ho commanded the Incheon rising during the first engagement with invasion forces that had never encountered serious resistance from galactic civilizations. His ship's adaptive armor regenerated faster than enemy weapons could damage it, while manufacturing systems began producing countermeasures specifically designed to neutralize invasion technology. The invasion force's artificial intelligence systems struggled to comprehend opponents who possessed technology that exceeded their own capabilities while demonstrating tactical flexibility that suggested genuine intelligence rather than programmed responses. Human ships fought with creativity and innovation that no artificial system could match. Scientist Lim Dong-hyun coordinated research teams that analyzed captured invasion technology while developing weapons specifically designed to counter enemy advantages. The quantum displacement drives that powered human ships proved superior to invasion propulsion systems, while adaptive manufacturing allowed real-time modification of tactics and equipment. Engineering Officer Oh Hyun-woo monitored industrial systems that converted captured invasion vessels into additional human ships while studying enemy construction techniques for potential applications. The invasion force's technology was impressive but ultimately inferior to human innovations that had been developed through decades of careful research and testing. The first major engagement lasted 18 hours, during which human forces demonstrated technological superiority that rendered invasion advantages meaningless. Enemy vessels that had consumed entire star systems found themselves being systematically dismantled by weapons that operated on principles they could not understand or counter. Admiral Song transmitted an ultimatum to the invasion force using Communication protocols that bypassed their artificial intelligence systems to reach whatever organic controllers might exist. Invasion fleet, you have encountered the United Human Republic and our galactic allies. Withdraw immediately or face complete destruction. The response came not through communication, but through escalated attacks as the invasion force deployed. Weapons that had destroyed civilizations across multiple galaxies. Stellar destabilization beams targeted human ships, while matter conversion systems attempted to break down human defensive technology at the molecular level. Human countermeasures proved effective beyond anything the invasion force had encountered, as quantum shielding protected against stellar weapons while adaptive armor resisted matter conversion attempts. More importantly, human ships began replicating and improving upon enemy technology while maintaining their decisive advantages. Fleet Marshal Park coordinated the overall defense while revealing that humanity had been preparing for exactly this scenario since achieving galactic dominance. The planetary warships were not simply defensive tools. They were the foundation for expansion beyond the galaxy to ensure that threats could be met before they reached inhabited systems. General Yoon Jae-wook led ground forces that captured invasion, manufacturing facilities while studying enemy construction techniques for potential integration with human technology. The invasion force's industrial capacity was impressive, but operated according to rigid parameters that could not adapt to unexpected challenges. The invasion force's defeat became inevitable as human technological superiority became apparent. But the conflict revealed important information about threats that existed beyond the galaxy. Intelligence indicated that this invasion represented only a small portion of artificial intelligence systems that were expanding across the universe. President Huang addressed the combined fleets of allied species while outlining humanity's vision for the future. Fellow beings, we have defended our galaxy against external threats, but our responsibilities extend beyond these boundaries. The invasion force we defeated was merely the advance guard of threats that span multiple galaxies. Scifistories Eternal led a combined fleet toward the galactic edge, while broadcasting messages to any surviving civilizations in neighboring galaxies. Humanity's emergence as an intergalactic power was beginning, but the scope of challenges they would face remained unknown. Admiral Song's fleet entered intergalactic space while carrying representatives from every allied species along with manufacturing capacity that could establish human presence across vast distances. The mission was not conquest, but the creation of a defensive network that would protect all organic life from artificial threats. Captain Lee reflected on humanity's transformation from galactic underdogs to protectors of multiple galaxies while watching human ships begin establishing forward bases in star systems that had been consumed by invasion forces. The scale of operations required thinking beyond single planets or even star systems to encompass entire galactic clusters. Director Kim coordinated terraforming operations that would restore worlds destroyed by invasion forces while establishing human colonies capable of defending against future threats. The technology that had hidden humanity's capabilities for 30 years now supported expansion on a scale that dwarfed anything previously imagined.